Thank you.
Honourable Member for St James North.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this bill, the Award of Pride of Barbados bill, and in total agreement with it from a philosophical viewpoint and from all other viewpoints. A state must be able to recognize its citizens who do good works, and its citizens not only who reside in Barbados, but who reside outside of Barbados. And that recognition must be at all levels, sir. It can't only be at the level of the knights and the honourables, the companion of honour of Barbados. We, of course, a few months ago created new categories of national awards equivalent to the level of knighthoods as well. But it must be at other levels as well. And of course, tomorrow the state will be installing over 200 new justices of peace from all across Barbados. That is recognition as well. This new category of awards, this legislative regime will create, at least allow the possibility of the creation of 10 persons who reside in Barbados to be awarded the award Pride of Barbados every month in any year, and 10 persons who reside outside of Barbados to be so awarded in any month of any year. And of course, eligibility, sir, is limited to those who are citizens of Barbados or entitled to be registered as citizens of Barbados. And that is key, sir, because you may not have actually taken out citizenship, but you're entitled to because by descent, for example, or persons who are permanent residents of Barbados. Sir, and while Philippians 3 verses 20-21 speaks of our citizenship being in heaven, the Bible does, of course, speak towards people, urging them to be good and moral citizens. And on earth, sir, before we reach heaven. And this is the concept which undermines the whole tenet of this new legislation which is being debated here today. People, I would wish to submit, sir, do not generally do good works and humanitarian works, acts of volunteerism going beyond the call of duty, sir, on the ultimate aim to be rewarded. I think most people do it out of the kindness of their heart, their sense of duty, their sense of pride in their country, nationalism, patriotism. But it is only right to award them, sir, and recognize them after they do these works on merit, sir. And would want to assure the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that this would not be used for political purposes, sir. This is not the type of government to which I belong, sir. All those who merit it will be considered, sir. And of course, you have to look at how someone will be nominated, because the Act speaks towards that. A person who resides in the respective parish can nominate the individual who lives in Barbados, while those who live outside Barbados, sir, would be nominated by persons who formerly resided in the particular parish but now reside outside of Barbados, and who are nominated by persons who either reside in the parish still or used to reside in the parish but now reside outside of the parish. So there's also a wide category of the persons who can nominate people. But this award speaks directly to the sacrifice and the diligence and the dedication to service which we are calling on all citizens, all people who live in Barbados to make to the advancement of this country. We're calling on people to make contributions, outstanding contributions, because we aim for excellence as a people to the community life in a parish and to the improvement of the economic and social conditions of that parish or of a community of persons. We are calling, as the Honourable Member for Christchurch, East Central Sports, for enhanced national identity. And of course, page 62 of the manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party, sir, following on from the Covenant of Hope, which the Honourable Leader of the Opposition here, just before this speech, conceded. In fact, he had no choice in conceding. That was an excellent document, sir, but in our manifesto we speak towards...
Honourable might not be a concession. I believe it's an acknowledgement, not a concession. An acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement, sir. I concede to you, sir. The use of the English language. That our manifesto speaks of the traditional Barbadian value system which has served us well, and that the Barbados Labour Party will build an enhanced sense of national identity, presenting to the region and to the world a Barbadian who, by virtue of personal excellence, will stand out anywhere, a Barbadian who is not afraid to dream, to dare, or do extraordinary things for country, community, family, and self. And hence, sir, we are embracing Barbadians from the wider world, from outside of Barbados, where, of course, as the Honourable Leader of Government Business said, Barbadians are in every part of the world, sir, and we are here embracing them and giving them the opportunity to be recognized at the level of the state, government, and people of Barbados. As has been said, sir, those who will be eligible for this award will extend widely to teachers, to priests, to, yes, mothers who mentored, helped raise children in a district, in a community, and there are many of them. Even some who may not have had children of their own, sir. Men who have mentored young men, especially in today's age when we are fighting, sir, for the survival of our youth in many cases, and we are tackling that up front, sir, having restored state-funded University of the West Indies education within a month or two of the elections last year, creating the platform, sir, for youth advancement, whereby at its highest 2,500 young people, sir, between ages 16 and 22, having left school within the last 2 years, will be given the opportunity now to get skills, not only skills, but life skills as well, to serve them in the future. Team building, self-esteem, community service, volunteerism, having a core group of people who, if a disaster unfortunately comes to Barbados, God forbid, we will have that core of people. The trust loan fund, sir, all of this we are demonstrating as a government our commitment to advance the communities and the national development of this country. Others who will be entitled to this award in principle, sir, will be people who are into the culture and the arts and advancing and enhancing the environments of districts, of parishes, those who, for example, draw the murals that you see around the country, those who beautify their communities, sir. We've had competitions, garden competitions, who has the best garden within a community. These are the kind of people who we are now expanding recognition nationally to by the enactment of this piece of legislation. Because we must, as a government, not only as the Honourable Member for Christchurch West Central said today, we don't only have the obligation, as we have been doing in the 16 months that we have been in office, to tackle the economic malaise that we found this country in when we came into office, sir. But a country is more than that, sir. And we have to create examples for our youth as to what it is to be a Barbadian, what is excellence. And that if you achieve, in terms of community development and outstanding contribution to your country, you can be rewarded, sir. It is necessary that we restore Barbados' pride in industry, sir, after 10 lost years, sir. 2008 to 2018, sir. And the people of Barbados, especially the young people, sir, must not be thinking that Barbados can only be defined or must be defined by the incompetence and callousness and corrupt practices demonstrated by the last government, sir. But that there must be a platform which you aim for to do good by your people, sir, by your country. And that is what national development is about, sir. Something voluntary, that everything can be for money and for pecuniary interest, sir. And that achievements by way of volunteerism, in many cases, sir, by many people, is more fulfilling than something that you are paid for. And we have to commit that psyche to our people, especially to our young people. As the Honourable Member for St. Michael Southeast said in opening this debate, sir, we are embarking in the next couple months on Regathering 2020. This the brainchild of the Honourable Prime Minister, who I give tremendous commendation for coming up with this concept, sir, and driving it and leading the effort which we will be embarking on. So this not only provides the opportunity for social and economic advancement of our people, as we have activity created, so events, culture, cricket, arts, entertainment, sir, and therefore the development of our people with money circulating about the place, sir. But we're inviting, of course, all Barbadians and their family and friends as well to come to Barbados, sir. We're looking to flood the place. And obviously, when they come, to come with their foreign currency, sir, to be well spent in the development of this country. All of this is part of us now climbing out of the gutter where we found ourselves over the last decades, sir. And we recognize as a government that we have to fight this evil that confronted us on all fronts, and this is part of that whole fight. As I said, sir, we will also be defining Barbadian values which served us well in the past. So therefore, sir, we're going to have a platform for genealogy, so you'll be able to trace your roots back, sir, because that is important, because we've heard so many times, sir, you can't go forward unless you know where you came from. And the educational aspect and the health aspect, sir, the development of those major aspects of our country in terms of providing an avenue whereby people, especially those from overseas, can give philanthropy and advance our country in terms not only of the finance but of the equipment and their knowledge and their experience in areas gained from going overseas. as Barbadians, as we know our history was in the 50s and 60s especially, all of us in here, sir, have had relatives who would have emigrated to from Barbados to England while we were still a colony of England before 1966 and after, sir, and then also to Canada, which opened up immigration, so its immigration policies in the mid-1960s and onwards to the wider world based on your skills and your educational qualifications, and of course the United States, sir, where we were going to again from the 40s, 50s, 60s, right through, sir, as a people. So this whole 2020, we gather in 2020, provides that opportunity, sir, and all of us are looking forward with eagerness to it. As I said, sir, it provides an opportunity for family and friends bonding, and therefore it's only right and fit that we open up this category of awards, sir, to Barbadian citizens who are those eligible to citizenship who reside overseas, sir. We are also indebted to Barbadians or families, sir, who by their remittances of foreign exchange have helped in the past to keep this country afloat. And giving back to your country, sir, is a concept and philosophy which I have lived, of course, my whole life as an adult in terms of its creed, sir. We will soon be inviting the Cabinet of Barbados, sir, to look at the expansion of categories of citizenship. And so without obviously revealing anything, I could reveal this one, sir, because the Prime Minister has on at least 2 occasions while she was overseas in England and Canada spoken towards it. One of the categories we will be looking to expand our citizenship to, sir, is to a person born outside of Barbados who has at least one grandparent who is a Barbadian. And so this has been done in other countries. It's nothing new. But this would give the opportunity for many persons born in, especially in England and Canada, America, other countries, who have at least one grandparent who is a Barbadian citizen to be eligible and to take out Barbados citizenship, because most countries in the world, sir, have dual citizenship and allow dual nationality. And this is important, sir, this is fundamental. And many persons ask for this when you travel overseas and you meet with them. And finally, sir, I would wish to take the opportunity to speak towards now the facilitation of not only Barbadians who reside overseas arriving into Barbados, sir, not only for the we gather in 2020, but otherwise, and also for tourists and visitors to Barbados generally, sir, the facilitation efforts that we are making, sir, and have made in tremendous strides at the airport. The first point of contact of anyone, whether resident or non-resident, coming to Barbados, first point of contact that you have with our country, sir. The persons who you meet, the facilitation officers employed by the airport, the immigration officers under the Department of Immigration, the customs officers, these are the first people that you will encounter on arriving here, sir. And of course, first impressions still count to a large degree, and we have a duty as a government to make sure that that first impression is memorable. Therefore, sir, we have now completed 3 months ago the installation of 32 more kiosks at the airport, 48 in all, sir. 17 of these kiosk had been sitting down for a year and a half under the last administration at the airport, incapable or just unwilling or just callous as to their installation or not, sir. We now have 48, and they're being fully utilized, sir. We've eliminated from the 1st of this month use of the physical ED card, sir. And I mean, that was paperwork, a time that had long since passed us. And the kiosks are there now, where you put in your passport, get all your biometric information, answer some questions, sir. The Cabinet has agreed for more questions to be put in, which will be put in next month by the service provider of the Grantley Adams Airport. And this whole platform will be ready for the start of the tourist season in mid-December, sir. The Cabinet of Barbados has also agreed in principle to an alternative method of booking into Barbados, sir, the online ED card. Online ED card, instead of now pen and paper writing out, sir, you'll be able to go on your information technology device, whether computer, laptop, cell phone, smartphone, and no less than 24 hours before boarding the plane for Barbados to fill out the ED card online, submit it to the authorities here. So, and of course, all the checks will still be done, the security checks, to ensure that the national security of our country will not be compromised, sir. And of course, we would have, in December last year, brought in the legislative platform to enhance those national security devices, the APIS bill and the cargo bill, the amendments to the Immigration Act and the Customs Act, sir, facilitating that. And Cabinet will soon be requested, sir, to approve the development of this online ED card system in full. The system is being finalized as we speak, sir. So this is important, sir, because we've spoken many times in this Parliament, many of us, most of us, about the increasing difficulty of doing business in Barbados up to last year, where we moved down from number 72 in the world to 133, just like that, sir, in the space of a few years in terms of ease of doing business and lack of competitiveness, sir. And lack of competitiveness and difficulty of doing business makes it so much more difficult for our country to advance, whether socially, economically, nationally, or otherwise. And we are addressing that in many ways, sir. We've brought various pieces of legislation to address that issue from the time we came into office. And the facilitation of arriving passengers for use of the kiosk and for the online ED card system will be just part of that whole process which this government, led by the Honourable Prime Minister, is piloting, and with the assistance, of course, of the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. And of course, legislation, sir, will be required for any change, obviously for the the removal of the physical online card, sir, the manual online card, whichever one prefers to call it, and for its replacement. So I fully support this bill, sir, and I'm happy to be part of a government that widens the category of persons who will be eligible for national honours, sir, as we recognize merit and excellence and set another example for people, especially our young people, to aim for and to be rewarded, but within the context of the duty and obligation of all of us and not only those, sir, who enter politics, sir, but the whole of Barbados within your capacity and means to give back voluntarily to this country which we love so much and which has done so much for all of us. I'm obliged to you, sir.